I love to touch people. I love to make you laugh and cry. I love to talk about faith. I love to include God in our programs. I love to create programs that families can come together and watch together. Our programming is so diversified in 2022, and families rarely can find something that everyone can enjoy, and I believe the Waltons Homecoming brings that back. And it takes me all the way back to being a little guy growing up in Amory, Mississippi, and every Thursday night when that theme song da 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 would come on, we'd all rush to the living room because we knew it was the Waltons. And when Warner Brothers came to me and said, "We really think you're the best producer on the lot to take this format and do a reboot." And it's the 50th anniversary of the original Waltons Homecoming that starred Patricia Neal and Richard Thomas and all the kids. And I just thought, this is perfect. And I loved it so much as a kid. I know exactly what to do with this. And so we created a new world for the Waltons in the same time period, 1933, Depression-era America in the mountains of Virginia. And we made a show that people really responded to. And the CW aired it. My friend Mark Pedowitz bought it from me. And I guaranteed him that he would get an audience for it because I just know how many Waltons fans there are. And he called me the day after it aired and said, "This is the highest rating we've had on a television show all year." And that let me know that we had hit a nerve and that families had responded. And now it's going to give us the opportunity to do more of them. And that's what's so incredible. It's not just about what's popular in New York and Los Angeles. It's about what's in between. And we hit all those states in between that are looking for something like what we're doing. And I think they realized it and respected it and decided, since it's an important piece of intellectual property for the studio, who better to do it than Sam Haskell? And I was so flattered and so complimented. And I was able to bring my friends Bellamy Young and Ben Lawson in to play the parents. And my wife Mary and I had been big fans of This Is Us and Logan Schroyer playing the young Kevin. And I thought from the very first time I saw him, he should be John Boy. And so I pulled in all the people that we wanted and needed to make this format work. And then, of course, our wonderful writer, Jim Strain, who was with us on the Heartstrings series that we did for Netflix. And he writes with such pathos and such sincerity and humor and drama. And I just loved him, and I knew that he was the right one for this. And indeed he was.
You transformed it.
And I changed it and made it more inclusive. And, Olivia's best friend is an African-American woman named Rose Hawthorne.
And church.
Yes. And we have, that Waltons going to the African-American church for the very first time in our movie. And we have Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr. as members of the congregation.
Been to the Movieguide Awards many times. Wonderful.
And they've been dear friends of mine for years. And I just called their management and called them and said, would they consider coming in and doing this little special piece on Silent Night for the reuniting of John and Olivia after, they're all worried that he's been killed in this accident. And I think the way the violins rose and John coming in was just a tear-jerking moment. And we've gotten so many comments about Marilyn and Billy and how wonderful they were. And I just am so proud. I'm just so proud. And to make the Waltons a more inclusive show brings in more audience, and it opens it up to all that could be, and I'm just so proud of it.
Well, you should be proud of it. Now, this is a long way from, you say you grew up in Mississippi.
Yes.
To here.
Yes.
How does a young man from Mississippi, that's a really...
Well, I'll tell you a little story that resulted in this Emmy over here.
Okay.
I remember driving up to the Tennessee River to a resort called Pickwick Dam. And so I'm reading in my TV guide, the Emmy nominations have just come out. This is like 1965 or 66. And I'm reading all the Emmy nominees, and I go, oh, well, Dick Van Dyke's gonna win for sure. And when I grow up, I'm gonna move to Hollywood and I'm gonna win an Emmy. And the whole car broke out laughing, just humiliated me to the point of no return. But Mrs. Hollis said, y'all hush. If Sammy thinks he's gonna win an Emmy, then Sammy's gonna win an Emmy. And 55 years later,
Wow.
I did. And that was for our Dolly Parton Netflix movie, Christmas on the Square, which was an original musical. But the attention that I got started with Movieguide, because Movieguide was the very first organization to recognize what I was doing and to recognize what we were doing as a company and what we were doing as a studio. You have always been there for us, and I think it gets people to notice us more. But it all started with Movieguide, and that's why I am so appreciative and thankful to you, Ted, because of the kind of programming that you embrace as an organization and that you want your audience to see. And that's what's so great. And they want it if it's produced the right way. Yeah. See, you can't preach as much as you just set examples. And I honestly believe that we attract more goodness with goodness than we ever could with anything else. And the fact that they're all responding to this kind of programming says that I'm doing it the right way.
You are doing it the right way.
And it makes a difference when you do it the right way.